When I look at the last 90 days of our listings taken, 93 were from expireds. 93 expired listings taken. This is expired season. We're seeing more and more homes come off the market right now than we saw all spring. In most markets, you have more expires in the last 90 days than you had in the first 6 months of the year. As we know, this is why we use Vulcan7, the expireds have raised their hand. They've said, we'll pay a commission. They raised their hand and said, we'll put a sign in the yard. This is our time to shine using a product like yours because of how many homes are coming off the market right now. So we're building our listing inventory so that way when we enter into 2024, we already have a strong group of sellers that are under contract with us, which will help us start the year strong.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Vulcan7 Coaches and Mentors, where we bring you some of the top in the business coaches, mentors, and agents, and they come to us and give you their tips and strategies so that you can implement them immediately in your business. Now, as we're heading on to the new year, in today's episode, we're going to be covering the most important things that you need to be doing in the month of December, and especially in January. So make sure to get your pen, your paper ready because you're going to be taking a lot of notes. So with that being said, I want to bring on today's guest, Jeff Glover. Jeff, welcome.
All right. Hey, thanks for having me.
Yes. So for everyone that's watching that might not be familiar, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, name's Jeff Glover. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and I've been listing and selling real estate now for 21 years. This May, I entered into my 21st year. And in those 21 years, 19 of them I have spent coaching, training, and mentoring agents. So I was very fortunate to get the opportunity to run a real estate office after only having 2 years of experience. A lady by the name of Kathy Schweitzer hired me to run one of her offices at 20 years old. Now, later, by the way, I found out that they were getting ready to close the office, so they didn't really have a lot to lose anyways by taking a chance on me. That's for a story for another day. But because of that, of course, I got a lot of experience in training and coaching and recruiting and so forth. But also I learned, what the best of the best do and what the rest don't do. And of course, implemented those into my business. And now today I'm still in the trenches with real estate salespeople. In fact, in the last decade, I have personally averaged over 100 transactions a year the last 10 years. And that's just me. That's not even including our team. Our team last year did 982 transactions, and we're gearing up to do 1,200 next year. So I'm excited to be with you today to not only share, what we're doing, but what I'm doing right now to succeed in this fun market that we're in.
Yeah, absolutely. And with those numbers, I'm sure that the agents that are listening to this are probably wondering and thinking to themselves, how can I get to that level? So right now we're wrapping up 2023. It's December. We have a few weeks left. What do agents need to be doing right now?
Yeah. So the biggest thing is look at, we are 8 days, 10 days, depending on when you watch this, into the new year already. So if you think about your business in January, there's a reason why most brokerages plan on losing money or at best case scenario, breaking even in the month of January. And that's because closings are always down in January. That has nothing to do with the weather. That has nothing to do with seasonality. That has everything to do with agents dialing it back in the month of December and focusing on closing out business. Well, you shouldn't be focused. Don't get me wrong. You're going to have some business that needs to close in December, but December should not just be written off as a close it out month. December is the first month of 2024, and I honestly believe that I've got an unfair advantage by treating December 1st like it's January 1st, December 2nd like it's January 2nd, December 3rd like it's January 3rd. In fact, we start off we have a 7:30 a.m. accountability call every morning, and I welcome everyone to the call by saying, welcome to the 9th day of the new year. It's December. Why is that? Well, because our mentality is everything we do right now is going to show up next month. The other thing that we're focusing big on right now is we're increasing our average daily contacts because, as you know, in most markets across the country, sales have been down anywhere from 20 to 35% on average. And so therefore, we're beefing up our contacts right now so that way we go into the new year with a strong listing inventory. But our big focus right now is on the contact game. How can we make more contacts right now and make conversations with people right now? Because why? Watch this. There's no other time of the year where people are spending more time with family and friends than right now. And you know what the number one conversation that ends up coming up around the dinner table, around the holiday table or whatever, outside of just what everyone's been up to? Who bought or sold a house this year? Who's buying or selling a home next year? Who looked at homes this year? Who listed their house this year? Real estate always comes up. No matter what, real estate comes up. And guess what? I want to be top of mind when that does. So if we make those contacts now, on December 20th, 25th, December 30th, whenever those meetings, family gatherings take place, I'm going to be top of mind. And now all of a sudden, instead of wondering why I'm out of business in January, I'm going to have business falling in my lap.
Yeah, that's awesome. Everything that you're just mentioning, because I feel that overall, there's always going to be those agents that once the holidays come around, maybe October, Thanksgiving, Christmas, they're like, you know what? Maybe I didn't have the great year that I thought I was going to have. So I'm just going to start in January. I'm going to start fresh. When in reality, you can be starting right now and setting yourself up for success.
Oh my gosh. When I look at the last 90 days of our listings taken, when I look at September, October, November, the last 90 days of our listings taken, 93 of our listings, okay, we've taken 227 in the last 90 days, by the way, 93 were from expireds. 93 expired listings taken. This is expired season. We're seeing more and more homes come off the market right now than we saw all spring. I mean, if you look at the last 90 days in most markets, you have more expires in the last 90 days than you had in the first 6 months of the year. And so this December should be, if you want low-hanging fruit, because think about it for a second. The expireds, of course, as we know, this is why we use Vulcan7, the expireds have raised their hand. They've said, we'll pay a commission. They've raised their hand and said, you can put a lockbox on my house. They raised their hand and said, we'll put a sign in the yard. This is our time to shine using a product like yours because of how many homes are coming off the market right now. So we're building our listing inventory so that way when we enter into 2024, we already have a strong group of sellers that are under contract with us, which will help us start the year strong.
Yeah, exactly. And, with expires, just like you mentioned, these are the low-hanging fruit. And a lot of agents, sometimes they're scared of making these calls to these type of leads, or maybe they think that no one's going to answer because it's the holidays. Nobody wants to move. But clearly, by the numbers that you just mentioned, most of the listings that you guys got were from expired listings. So there's still people that want to move.
It was our number.
There you go.
It was our 227 listings taken. 93 of them were from expireds. Our number 2 source was database. Obviously, that's why we're working our database right now. And our number 3 source was hybrid farming, which is the GloverU version of kind of a cross between circle prospecting and farming, which we teach that at our events.
That's awesome. So let's say, okay, now we have the tools. We know exactly what we need to be doing now in December. How do we set ourselves up for success in January?
Well, if I can just say one more thing about December before we get to January, the last thing you can do in December is what I'm going to recommend is you're going to take an old-fashioned calendar like this, like just the old-fashioned blank black and white calendar, just like this. And this is an activity that I recommend you do every December because it's going to hold you accountable to working the days that you said you were going to work. And it's going to force you to feel good about taking off the days that you said you weren't going to work. And so what I recommend you do is if you know for a fact, all right, you're not working on 12/25, you're going to do an X through 12/25. If you know that there's a chance you want to put in a half day on 12/27, you're going to do a half a X on 12/27, right? So sorry, camera's over there. So by doing that, it's kind of an accountability tool. Okay. It's something that I've done every year when I look at my calendar for each month. What days am I taking off? What days are half days? And therefore, I don't feel guilty when I take the day off because I said I was going to take it off. But also, wait a minute, 12/27, I said I was working a half day today. I got to go into the office. I committed to a half day. So it's an activity that every single agent on this session should be doing.
Absolutely.
Look at the rest of the month and pick the days you're going to work and pick the days you're not going to work.
Yeah, I love that calendar idea and, blocking out those days because during the holidays, you might have family coming over. There's always going to be some type of distraction, but it's your job as an agent to stay disciplined and committed especially if you have certain goals that you want to hit for the following year. Otherwise, you might get lazy one day, wake up and be like, you know what, I'll get back to the phones tomorrow and make my calls tomorrow. And then you're going to just fall behind.
Mm-hmm.
So as we head on over to January, how can we get started on the right foot?
Yeah, a couple things. I actually got 3 recommendations for the month of January. All right. Number 1, I know this sounds crazy, and some people have followed me and they're like, oh yeah, that's no big deal. Other people are gonna be like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? You want to start your year off on a strong foot. I know this sounds crazy. Work January 1st. All right. Especially if you're using the Vulcan system. All right. January 1st. Look I got mine right here in front of me. What does that say next to the number 1? You see those letters there?
Yep.
UPD. What does UPD stand for? Ultimate Prospecting Day. It's already planned out. I'm already planning on working January 1st. In fact, I'm going to go live on a Zoom. I'll make sure you guys get the link so that way you can send it out to all of your followers as well. But I go live. I broadcast it live so everyone can watch me prospect. I put a headset on and I'm just going through my Vulcan system. And so number 1, I got 3 things for January. Number 1, you're going to start strong by starting on Monday the 1st. Don't wait until Tuesday or Wednesday like your competitors. Start on Monday the 1st. Well, Jeff, don't you bother people on New Year's Day? You start off the call saying, Happy New Year. All right. Everyone is, by the way, when they're getting calls from friends, kind of like growing up through the years back when we had landlines and stuff, your phone would ring and your mom or dad or whoever would say, Happy New Year. Like that was just like the thing on the 1st of the month. So the 1st of January. So I start off the call with Happy New Year. And I'm calling today because I'm showing that your home's no longer listed for sale. Just go right into the script. So that's number 1. Actually call on the 1st. I know it sounds crazy. You're going to see me do it, and I'm going to broadcast it live from 10 a to noon Eastern time on the 1st. So we'll make sure you guys get the contacts for that. You can just go to GloverU.com and register for our stuff. It's on there. That's number 1. Okay. Number 2, on the 4th, 5th, and 6th. So once you get done with the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, because the expires from the 1st are going to keep you busy, for a few days at least. But hold on. We can't forget about everyone in October, November, and December that said they wanted to wait until spring. They said they wanted to wait until after the holidays. Agents out there that don't work expireds, watch this. If they don't work expireds, your competition doesn't work expireds. Most of them don't, and that's fine. That's just more for us. When they return to work on like probably the 3rd or the 4th, and some of them aren't going to return until the 8th, we know that. But when they return, some of them, the hungry ones, are going to return on the 3rd or 4th. They don't call expireds. Do you know what they call? They go through their old leads. Everyone that they talked to in October, November, December. And just because it was an expired in November, you better believe that expired told their friends, told their family, told anyone who would listen about their home coming off the market and they're wanting to relist after the holidays. And so you're not the only one calling them after the holidays. They got other people that they've been talking to. So the lesson is, while everyone else is focused on, especially for my Vulcan friends, you're focused on everything from the 1st to 2nd and 3rd. Don't forget about setting aside time on the 4th, 5th, and 6th to call everyone who said that they wanted to wait until spring. And even if they said they wanted to wait till spring, I'm still calling them on January 3rd or 4th. I'm acknowledging that you said you wanted to wait until spring. I understand that. And I know I'm calling you a little early. And can I tell you why that is? I'm calling you a little bit early because you have an opportunity to get a jump start on the competition. Now, I don't want to pressure you into selling earlier than you want to, but I feel like I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't let you know that you have an unfair advantage of actually getting your home on the market now versus waiting until spring. And of course, that's the spring versus the winter holiday, holiday handler objection. That's one of them right there. But that's number 2. All right. So number 1 is actually work on the 1st. Number 2 is make sure you're setting a time on the 4th, 5th, and 6th to call everyone that told you they wanted to wait until spring, or they wanted to wait until after the new year. They wanted to wait until after the holidays. That's number 2. Number 3 is make sure in the month of January, you're going to an event, whether it's ours or somebody else's, that's going to put you in a position to win in 2024. Now, we get asked this all the time, Jeff, how do you pick the dates for your events? Because we do 2 big ones per year. We do one in the summer, we do one in the winter. Well, I always pick the second week in January. Sometimes it falls on the third, but like the middle of January, because number one, we spend the first week working our expert. So it'll never be the first week because I don't want to interfere with all the opportunities we have that week. It's always the second or third week. And why is that? Because I want every single agent that follows the GloverU system to have a strong start to their new year. And if you get in a room of about 1,000 people or just over 1,000 people this time around, agents from all brokerages, all brands who are following a similar system as you, you're going to be in a position to not only have your best, January of the year, but your best first quarter of the year. So my number 3 is probably consider coming to the summit. If you go to gloveru.com/summit, you can find all the details there. I know, some of you are going to say, oh my gosh, it's a month away. I can never plan that. Watch. Good news is flights are still cheap. All right. Our ticket price is only $499. People are paying, $1,500 for events today. I get asked all the time, how is it that you're able to even make money on these events? We don't. My mission is to impact millions to live their most unreal life. And I know that life is full circle. And if I can provide enough value now, then it's going to come back to me later. So listen, if you want to be surrounded by people who are executing on a similar business plan, or you just want to get your business plan, your hands on my business plan and be surrounded by people who are using my business plan, you might want to consider coming to Phoenix this January.
That's awesome. Everything you just mentioned. And for those of you that are listening to this, you mentioned so many different things. You mentioned some objection handlers, some scripts. So for you that is watching, go back, rewind, rewatch it, take notes, because everything is just gold. And even the way that you're talking about these events and starting January and the 3 things to focus on, I think it's extremely important for agents to actually implement, because something that happens is that agents get into this habit of just watching YouTube videos or maybe just want to be motivated, but they're not putting themselves in these environments with thousands of agents that are executing at a higher level, not an average agent, but they want to be your level.
At our last event, we had Ed Milet on our stage, and he made a comment. He said, you're most qualified to help the person that you used to be. You're most qualified to help the person that you used to be. And here's what happens. Agents that aren't where they want to be come to our event, and they're surrounded by people that are like, yes, I want to be that guy. Yes, I want to be that gal. Well, here's the deal. That guy or that gal was the same person that was saying 2 years ago, 5 years ago, I want to be that guy. I want to be that gal. And they're now qualified to pull you up. And you only get that when you get out of your box. You got to hop on an airplane. Of course, my people that are watching this in Arizona, it'll be easy for you, but you got to get out of your box and get out of your comfort zone and get on an airplane and get to an event. And here's the deal. There's a lot of great events out there. I will just say one thing, and I know I'm biased. The difference between ours and everyone else's is we don't just throw events to have a good time. I'm in the trenches with you. So I know what you're going through. All of our coaches, they're required to list and sell real estate and be in the trenches. So you're not just going to be around people that used to do it or people that sound, great because they did something really cool 10 years ago. You're going to be around people that are winning right now in this new market. And I'd love to have you there. And I think here's my challenge, or I guess my selfish response. Once you attend one of our events, you won't miss another. So if you go to gloveru.com/summit, you'll see all the details on that. And if you don't get the chance to come to the event, download our resources. But without question, if you want to finish December strong and you want to start your year even stronger, do everything you can to get to Phoenix, Arizona, January 15th. I will not let you down. I promise you that.
And this is an investment. I think a lot of agents sometimes get it twisted. Like, I have to spend, on a ticket, on flying, on a hotel and all of this. But at the end of the day, everything that you're going to learn by being there and who you're going to be surrounding yourself by, it might take your business 3-4 times of what you were currently doing. So unless you get outside of your comfort zone, you're never really going to know your full potential of what you can do.
I say all the time in our programs or from stage or whatever, I would never ask people to do something that I haven't done myself, right? So when I give homework, we have this Sales Rocket program, and I give homework every session. The homework I give is just an example of stuff I've had to do, right? So getting to an event, taking my GloverU hat off for a second as a real estate salesperson, because I get this question sometimes. Well, Jeff, what's your recommendation? How many events should I get to? My recommendation is this. All right. This is my real estate salesperson hat, my top producer hat, not my GloverU hat. Ready? I don't care whose the events are. I don't care whose you go to. No less than 4, no more than 6. No less than 4, no more than 6. I don't want you to be a conference junkie. Every town has one of those, right? The agent that goes to more real estate conferences than homes they actually sell. Don't be one of those guys or gals. However, I want you once per quarter to get out of your environment, to get out of your brokerage, to get out of your town, to hop on an airplane and go be surrounded people who are doing the things that you want to be doing. That's what I've done my whole career. I was so fortunate. After 1 year in the business, I was introduced to several great trainers and coaches, and I went to their events. And that's where I met people that pulled me through.
Yeah. And I think that's what you need sometimes. You need to be in these environments where, I know for me, personal experience, when I see others winning at a high level, that makes me want to step it up because I want to be there.
Yeah.
And obviously we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So by putting yourselves in these positions, you're learning from people that have already done the work and are now telling you exactly what it takes so that you're not spending time doing things that are not even going to give you any return.
Well, and listen, almost all of our audience uses Vulcan. So you're surrounded by people that are using this system at a very high level. So you might as well go there just for find role play partners and mastermind groups.
Yes. So to wrap it up, once again, let us know, where can we go to sign up for this event, find out more information about you, your coaching, your programs, and all that?
2 biggest things I can recommend. Everyone, take out your cell phones right now and open up your app store and download the GloverU app. And the reason why I recommend that is because, number one, I write a daily message every day, Monday through Friday, something that's going to help you succeed, something that's going to help you sell more homes. So when you download the app, it's automatically going to sign you up for that. And you'll get an email every day from me. And you'll get a notification if you want your notifications via the app. That's number one. Number two, go to gloveru.com/summit. That's GLOVER, the letter U.com/summit. This is our Live Unreal Summit happening January 15th through the 18th in Phoenix, Arizona.
There you go. Awesome. Well, Jeff, thank you once again for this interview. As always, it's always great to have you on here. Everything that you say, all of the knowledge that you drop, I mean, I'm fired up now. And hopefully everyone that's watching this will rewatch this and sign up, download the app. And I think from here is just actually executing, because there's going to be those agents that are going to listen to this and they're going to get fired up for the next couple minutes or the next day, but they're not going to do anything. So now it's the time to implement and take over 2024. So
awesome.
Jeff,
I love it.
Thank you once again. And we'll see you hopefully soon once in the future.
See you guys all in Phoenix this January. Good luck out there.